Hola, ¿qué tal? Bienvenidos a Desde Cero con Manuel. Welcome to Desde Cero right from the start. I am your host, Manuel Longoria. And today we have a very special guest. We have Aggie alumni, boxer, and aerospace engineer, Candace Hernandez Knepper. How you doing, Candace?
Hey, Coach. I'm doing all right. How are you?
Pretty good. So let's get into it, and let's talk about Candace Hernandez Knepper. Where were you born?
San Antonio, Texas.
San Antonio, Texas. What year, Candace?
Do we really want to start it off this way? 1989. I am an 80s baby.
Okay, and how was life in San Antonio for you?
Lots of good tacos growing up. San Antonio's a great city. Big city, small feel.
Big tourist city, right?
Big tourist city,
Right.
yeah. Got the river walk down there, so just beautiful.
Okay, and family, mom and dad. What can you tell me about your mom and dad?
Great role models, hardworking, great values and morals. Really, are a huge reason why I have succeeded as I have today. I can't speak enough to that.
Okay, and family, siblings.
There's 6 in our household.
Six,
and I'm the
total.
oldest.
Okay.
So yeah, got a lot of role modeling to do myself.
Right. And tell me about your siblings. Give me their names. I know Eli.
You know Eli.
Yeah, I know Eli.
You know Eli.
He's a good boxer, good champion too.
The Eliminator.
So, yeah. Is that his nickname, the Eliminator?
His nickname, yeah.
All right. Un saludos by Eli. Keep fighting, champ.
So we have Sarah. She's second oldest. Edward Jr., Jacqueline, Chloe, who's now boxing as well, and Eli.
Oh, okay. And so before we get going with Candace, I'd like to remind everybody to please subscribe to YouTube, Desde Cero con Manuel, and help us get to that next 1,000 subscribers. Okay. In San Antonio, where'd you go to high school?
Thomas Jefferson High School. So I believe it's the second oldest high school in town.
What part of town is that?
That's West Side.
West Side,
San Antonio.
Okay, what's all about West Side, San Antonio?
about to throw the sign, but I'm gonna keep my hand down.
Okay, and you graduated in what year?
2007.
2007, and from there, did you go straight to college?
I did. So had a few different looks on where I wanted to go. My junior year, I actually toured the A&M campus along with a few others, and I just fell in love with A&M. I mean, beautiful campus, huge, lots of greenery, but really it was the people, the culture, and the morals that drew me to it.
Okay, so you came to Texas A&M University.
I did.
Why Texas A&M University?
So just the friendliness of the people on campus. When I first came on campus, literally everybody that you passed was howdy, holding doors for you, learning about the traditions and the values. Just really set well with me because a lot of shared values there. So it was a perfect fit.
Okay, and tell me about your journey through Texas A&M and you know what you majored in and how was your life here at Texas A&M?
It was challenging to say the least. So very close to my family. So being away from home was very difficult. So much so that my second year, I almost called it quits at A&M. Almost went back to San Antonio and did schooling there. But my mom really just encouraged me to continue with it and stuck it out. And I'm grateful that I did. But it was fun. I had quite a bit of time there. So I studied, my major is Aerospace engineering. So tons of challenges there between physics, calculus, differential equations, you name it. But what I loved about it is that you just, you look at a subject and you think, I can't do this. But with time, dedication, you are able to. And
right.
So you find yourself always achieving something new every day.
Right. So why aerospace engineer? What attracted you to that major? Was it a big challenge for you, or where'd you get aerospace engineer from?
Yeah, so I think I have a tendency to be drawn to things that are just difficult or hard. So
Right.
I really love math. I almost majored in math actually, but that left out the engineering side, which I'm very I love fixing things. I love thinking through problems, working with my hands. And so what led me specifically to aerospace, I can't really say. I think just the fascination with it, incorporating the math, the physics, and the engineering all together.
Did that come while you were attending Texas A&M? Were you coming in to be a math major and say, hey, well, let me try and see if I can do this aerospace engineer major? Actually,
no. I actually committed as an aerospace to the aerospace field
from the start.
The start.
Okay. So during your time here at Texas A&M, I remember at my boxing club, I always had free January boxing for women, and every woman in January could work out for free. Okay, and that's where you came in.
Yep, changed my life.
And you came in and say, "Hey, I want to try boxing." What made you come in and try my free classes in January? And I knew that it was going to work out because when somebody comes by themselves, you know that they're serious about it.
Right.
So when you walked in, it was like, well, let me try it out. And I was like, well, let's get going.
Yeah.
So where'd you see it, and why did you decide to start boxing?
So I love to dance. I love salsa dancing, Latin dancing, and it wasn't always feasible to get out there. And there's a local coffee shop here in Bryan that would open up their doors Wednesday and Saturday evenings to Latin dance, and it was just something that I wasn't able to do very often. I needed another form to dance, so I figured, hey, why not the boxing ring?
Right.
But I saw your ad in a local newspaper, and figured, hey, let me give it a try.
It's free.
It's free. Perfect.
So, yeah. So, I guess you enjoyed it and you stayed with it because you came back the next month and the next month and from there you just kept working out. What did you like about it?
Well, you were very welcoming. Like I said, literally, you opening that opportunity with the free Women's January, that really was life-changing for me because, here we are 10 years later and I'm still doing it.
Right.
And making a career out of it. So you were very welcoming. We've always had a good relationship right from the start. Easy to talk to, easy to laugh.
Desde Cero.
Desde Cero. So, yes. So, I think we hit it off real well. You definitely, gave me, I think it's reciprocal, right? I give you the effort, the time, the commitment, and in turn, you gave me a lot of attention and helping me grow as well. And so, just intrigued my interest. I loved it.
Okay. So you trained for, I'm going to say 4 months, and you said, hey, Coach, I want to compete. And at that time, there was the Women's Strength Championship. Or what was that called? You remember what it was called?
I think it was a women's, what was it? Women's Championship, something like that. Well, but to be clear, I think from the very beginning.
Go ahead.
Okay. So to I guess re-jog your memory, from the very beginning, I think I wanted to go straight into competing, but I had to lose weight first. I don't know if you remember that. I think I had to drop like 15 pounds.
Yeah, because of your height and whatnot.
Because of my height. I was a little heavy coming in.
You came in all skinny and was like, you got to lose 15 pounds. Like, really?
Well, years later, you told me, you're like, you came in kind of chunky. So I was like, now you tell me. But yeah,
Right.
it took me about 2 months, maybe 3 months to get to my weight, and just started going at it.
Right. So, we registered you and we got you ready for the first fight here. And it was in Houston, Texas with the Women's Strength Championship or something. We'll look it up and we'll figure out what it was called. But it was your first bout. And how did you feel going into that first bout?
Nervous. I was. I had my family come out from San Antonio, so they met us there.
Right, I remember everybody showing up.
Yeah, trying to figure out my gear, as you recall.
Right. So a little story here is like, I think you were like the 20th bout, like always.
Always late. Always late.
I was and we were there all day, and finally I'm like, hey, Candace, go get ready. Go get ready for your, go change and put your uniform on and whatnot. And I was getting my, the gauze and tape ready to hand wrap you, right there. And and when you came out of the bathroom and you walk up to me, you had your groin protector outside your shorts. And I just looked at you like...
you gave me this dead-on look like, really?
Are you joking? Get serious. And you're like, what's going on? So
you do that in sparring.
But that was a pretty funny moment. And I remember your bout. After the first round, you had that one. I think you gave her a 10 standing 8 count.
Yeah.
And from there, I thought it was pretty much done. But you did real good your first bout, and everybody was excited, and all your family and whatnot. But that was real fun, and you kept training. You kept competing, and you won a few belts, and how many bouts did you end up having? Do you remember?
Amateur, I think total today I have about 14.
14.
I think so.
Yeah, because women boxing, it was hard to find an opponent.
Right.
It was always hard to find opponents and your weights and your age and experience. And, we ended up fighting, number ones.
Yeah.
Nationals number ones all the time because it was hard to find bouts. And, we always did real good. And so during that time, I kind of made you the team captain because there were a lot of kids and a lot of female boxers at the club who looked up to you. Mm-hmm. And, I thought that you were, you were up for it too because, you showed everybody what hard work was. So, you were inspiring to a lot of kids there. So that's why I made you team captain. And, what did you feel about being the team captain?
It was a big responsibility, one that I did take very seriously. I think part of that comes from being the oldest and knowing, what it means to invest in others, lead by example. And I think we've talked about it. There's people can be better than you, they can be faster than you, stronger than you. But one thing they shouldn't be is they should never outwork you.
Right. And
so I've always lived by that, I guess, mindset, and I hope to instill that in others. That's one thing that I would always try to do, especially with the younger kids, is hey, work for it.
Right. Right.
One thing that I've always noticed is, especially like when you're running, and you're doing your team runs or your team sprints, those who have the talent or the youth, whatever it may be, they're always out ahead up front. But it's those who always put in the work and who are consistent, who are committed, that end up taking the lead in the long run. And so for me, that was always the case, especially being a female, competing against even, younger guys, I'd always be in the back from the get-go. But towards the end, I'd start taking the lead. And so that's what I'd try to help others see.
Okay. Aside from you doing all that, you used to always help me with Aggie camps, and I believe one time we had I think the Aggies had some Sigma, what was it, some sorority?
Yeah, it was one of the A&M sororities. I can't recall the name. Right,
but they have yearly. They would come to my club and they were doing a cancer awareness day or camp, and they would all bring, and you would hold mitts for them and whatnot. And ironically, this is that time where you came to me, and I remember this very clearly. And you told me, "Hey, Coach, I got diagnosed with cancer."
Yeah.
So and that was hard to take. I mean, I don't know if I showed it or not, but it was real hard for me, and and I told you it was going to be hard to talk about.
Yeah. Yes.
But tell me about that, about your getting diagnosed with cancer.
So it was very much a surprise because at that point, 2020, I felt like I was at my healthiest. Condition-wise, I was at my best. And one day, I was just laying down and I happened to, feel something hard. It felt like a BB. And as a woman, anybody, as you know your body, and that just didn't feel right. And so I made it a point to check it out, and it took me about, I think, 2 weeks to get into the doctor's office. And I was mildly concerned, but not much. But the day that I went in, they expedited the process, and that scared me.
Right, it scared all of us. And that's what you told me. It's like they need me now, and it's like, what do you mean they need you now?
Yeah, So I went in, and they did like a 3-step process. They first did a mammogram, and then from there they're like, okay, well, we need to do an ultrasound, and then I think they did like an MRI, and then they actually took like a sample of. They did find the tumor, and so they took a sample of it. And that's when they found, no, it's not benign, but it is cancerous. Right. And it was just kind of like running full speed and then just straight into a wall.
Right, straight into a wall. Yeah, I remember. I don't know if it had anything to do with it, but a couple of weeks before, you fought in Austin.
Yeah.
And for some reason, you seemed different, and you got tired quicker. And I remember I just got on you, and after finding out that you had cancer, it's like, man, maybe that was the reason she got tired, and I'm over here, getting on, because I know what my boxers were capable of,
right.
And I knew that what condition they were in.
Yeah,
as a coach, who's putting in the work and who's not,
right?
And you always put in the work, but that day you seemed different. And you felt tired, and it's like, why is Candace tired? And and it's like, oh, maybe that was why. And I felt bad about that for a long time, and luckily you got diagnosed when it did. Right.
Very, very early on, which was a blessing. Right. But yeah, I remember that day too. I was just, my mindset was very out of it. I can't explain why.
Well, and you and I couldn't explain it, and you're like, I don't know what happened. It's like, this is not you.
Right.
Right. And the opponent, I'm not saying that it was an easy opponent, but it was somebody that you could have taken. I should have won. Easy. Yeah. And we were both puzzled by the performance, and 2 weeks later you were like, Coach, I have cancer. Yeah. And well, luckily it got caught on time. But tell me your fight with cancer.
So I found out, and I'm very big on faith, and so right from the start, I gave it to God, and it's something when you can be, it's so true when they say, you go through a storm, but when you know that God's with you, there's an undeniable, indescribable peace that you have. And so despite finding out all of this information, I was at peace. And I think as I shared it with people, when I shared it with you, when I shared it with my family, I think it probably rocked y'all more than it rocked me, because in my mind, I had already come to the conclusion that it's going to be okay. Right. No matter what. Beat it no matter what. I was going to beat it no matter what.
But for us, it, sitting from the outside and hearing, stories about, what cancer does. Right. It automatically scares everybody. Right. Not just us, but everybody. So, what were your treatments, and what did you go through?
So I want to say within 2 to 4 weeks after being diagnosed, I moved temporarily to Houston, right on the outskirts of Houston. A good friend from college, her mom lives, I believe it was in Allen, Texas. Okay. And so she let me stay with her. And oddly enough, she had just been diagnosed with cancer as well. And so we were going through this journey together. I leaned on her, she leaned on me. But the reason I moved there is because I sought treatment at MD Anderson in Houston. The local hospital here, it was a mess when I was here in College Station, because, with breast cancer, there's always the concern of other types of cancers. for females, and so the oncology team here in town, they weren't specialists, they weren't breast cancer specialists, they were just they were oncologists in general. And so they started talking about the idea of the potential of other cancers and maybe having I forget what it's called, but it's a surgery pretty much when they like remove your womanhood. Right. And so like no chance of having children in the future, like you kind of like onset menopause like early, and I'm in my 30s, so I'm just all of this is just like right. A lot of information.
You've always been in your 30s.
I've always yeah, I think you had 26 on my card for 5 years.
5 years, yeah.
So all of this information, it's just like, oh my gosh. But thankfully, my oncologist here was honest enough and open enough to say, look, we're not specialists. Please go to MD Anderson and, seek their advice. And so I went there and they said, no. We're dealing with breast cancer only. You don't have to worry about anything else. And they see it they see it 1,000,000 times a year probably. So, I mean, it was nothing new to them.
Right. And then I guess you went through a tough time of recuperating and trying to get your strength back. And at the time, you couldn't box anymore.
Right.
Because of not only because of strength, but because of COVID hit.
Yes.
And everything hit at the same time. You couldn't go to the gym and your immune system was down, and so you completely had to stop boxing.
Right. And so that was another, like, it was like a double whammy because I had my surgery, but because it was during COVID, my family couldn't see me. They couldn't be there with me. They couldn't. I mean, I was pretty much by myself.
Right. And we didn't see you for like a couple of months.
Yeah, it was a long time. And I think that made it difficult. Just having to, I mean, obviously family, friends, everybody was there in support via phone and everything, but I was so physically by myself. Right. And so I had to go through the surgery, went through 5 weeks, I think, of radiation. And that in itself, it completely drains you. A lot of days where it's just I was just in bed because that's all you could do. But the aftermath of that was a lack of range of motion. So in my right arm, for the longest time, and even today, I still have challenges with like what I can do because I'm afraid I'm going to tear something if I'm not careful. But took me about a little bit over a year to even just step back into the gym. And that's like running, doing light work, and maybe a year and a half to actually get back into a boxing gym and start throwing punches and working on that. Yeah,
because I believe when you got back, it was about a year. And, you came in and you would hit mitts. Everybody would have to leave.
Yeah.
And you would wear a mask, and I think we would do like one round.
Yeah.
of mitt work, and I told you, hey, step by step, and you're gonna get your strength back, and you're gonna be okay because you beat cancer.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And how soon after you were diagnosed that you beat cancer, you were able to ring that bell at the hospital?
That was a few months. I think I was diagnosed in like February, early March, and by sometime summer,
right.
I had beat it, and that's because thankfully, I caught it early. We caught it early enough to where the surgery took care of it, and the radiation took care of any potential lingering of that.
Right, and again, you couldn't get back because of your immune system and COVID. Shut everything down, shut us down too.
Right.
So, but that was some hard times that you had to go through. Mm-hmm. But we all knew that you were a fighter, and we all knew how strong you were, and mentally and physically. So luckily you got through it.
Yes, thank God.
So once you did that. You got through the cancer and you got your strength back and you started, getting yourself back together. You moved back to San Antonio.
I did.
Why the move? Why did you move back to San Antonio?
The whole experience of cancer really changes your perspective on life. It really makes you focus on what matters. And, I knew I had to get back to my family. So I had been in College Station, I want to say 14 years. And yeah, moved here 2007 and then went back in 2020. So yeah, about close to 14 years. And I just knew it was time to go back and be with family.
Home.
Yeah.
Time to go home. You sold your house and your dogs and everything. Did you sell your dogs?
Sold the house.
Oh, just the house?
Miss the dogs. I do miss the dogs. If that answers your question.
Okay. We get it. But you moved back to San Antonio and you start working on yourself and you get your strength back.
I did.
How did you accomplish all that?
So I took a step back. So as we talked about, an engineer, had an engineering career here. I moved back to San Antonio with a clean slate and just didn't put any pressure on myself to do anything or even give myself a hard deadline. But I just wanted to explore what I'm passionate about. And so I started doing personal training back in San Antonio, and I fell in love with it. I mean, it's everything that I love to do.
That's right. I remember now. What was that called?
Forward Action.
Forward Action.
Yeah.
Do you still have that?
So I still have the business. Legally, I'm just not operating at the moment. So okay. I put that aside as I picked up the pro boxing career. Okay,
and that's how you started working on yourself by working with others.
Working with others, and again, just investing in people. I got a little taste of what you've been doing for the past 25 plus years.
Plus, yeah.
And it's very rewarding just to see the growth of a person and that appreciation because they know that you're pushing them. And it hurts, but it's a good hurt,
Yeah. Well, didn't I tell you all that the whole time?
Yeah, that's right, several times.
So you start with Forward Action, and you start working out because you would work out with your clients. So you start boxing again. You start training again for yourself.
Right.
Right. What gym do you walk into in San Antonio and start doing this?
So. Shout out to Cardona's Boxing Gym.
Un saludo para Cardona's.
Yep. Juan and Chelsea Cardona, lovely people. They're like family to us. My brother's actually been boxing with them for a while now, Eli. And so I had a home waiting for me, a boxing home waiting for me. And so they took me in, and it's been great for the past 2 years.
And you decided to start competing again. I guess you felt better. You felt stronger, confident that you were able to compete again. Because honestly, after the surgeries and your cancer, it's like, man, I don't think Candace is going to be able to do it again.
Yeah.
But you proved me and everybody wrong.
Yeah.
So you start competing again.
Yeah.
When was your first fight back?
First fight back.
From the time you walked into Cardona's boxing. It
was probably at least a good year. I don't remember exactly, but it probably took about a year to get to that point. I'm still very much a competitor, and a lot of people have told me, why don't you get back into coaching, help coach the gym. I'm just not ready.
I'm not ready.
I still have that competitive heart, competitive mindset, and it took me about a year to get to the point where I felt physically and mentally ready, and went into my first bout, I want to say February of last year, and took the win.
Right.
So it was a beautiful feeling. I left everything out in the ring. I mean, to the point to my legs were shaking at the end. Like I needed help, somebody to hold my hand as I stepped down from the ring. I gave everything. Right. It was beautiful.
Okay, and it was in San Antonio?
And it was in San Antonio.
Okay. So up to this point, you've been through a lot and you worked your way back, and now you decided to go pro.
That's right.
You're going to hopefully have your first pro debut this January. Tell us about you deciding to go pro first.
Okay, so we talked about it. When a couple years into our training, we had talked about the potential.
That's always the dream. That's always the dream of, hey, if I'm gonna work hard, then I'm gonna go pro.
Right.
So you still had that dream then?
Still had that dream. I do have to say the confidence to go pro was it was in sleep mode for many years, I would say. But after coming back and starting up boxing again in San Antonio, the dream kind of came alive again. And with that came, with the training, like you say, trust your training, came that confidence. And just looking at my life, big picture, the impact that I want to have, not only inside the ring, not only with, the people around me, but on a global scale, I should say. I really felt confident in taking my fight to a bigger platform and, hopefully inspiring others with my work ethic, with my faith, with just who I am. My hope is that when people see me, they see Christ. That's my hope. That I can live a life that, resembles him, that sheds his love, his friendship. And that's my hope. And I think that, fighting on a bigger platform will allow more people to see that.
Right. And I guarantee that it's going to, inspire a lot of young boxers.
I hope so.
And when they hear about your story and what you went through, and now, you're doing what you love. Right. And you're boxing, and we're looking forward to your first pro fight. And when you start selling tickets, let us know, and Bryan College Station will show up.
Yes.
But hopefully, you're saying January, you're hoping to get your first bout, your debut. Yeah. Do you know what city?
So we're hoping. Initial plans were to get matched in December, but those plans fell through. I wasn't matched. So we're hoping for an opportunity in January. There's nothing solid. We're just keeping our eyes open, trying to get our name out there. But no details yet.
So do you have a fight name? Do you have is there a fight name? Candace, what?
Just Candace.
Tormenta, or I don't know. You got to get one.
If Candace isn't terrifying enough, right?
So if you got a fight name for Candace, put it on the YouTube comments, and we'll probably, if he gets chosen, we'll give you a free T-shirt.
Hey, there we go.
Okay. So
appreciate the help.
Let's try to find a fight name for Candace. Well, good luck with your pro career and your debut. And what are your life goals after this? I mean, your pro, not only but your boxing career, but your life. What are your goals?
So my goals are just, I think it's the same inside and outside the ring, right? I want to be the best person I can be. I want to invest in others, help others grow closer to Christ. Being with my family now allows me to, I guess, fulfill a part of that, because, you always want to help other people, but you got to start at home, right? So doing that at home, I want to be, the best daughter, the best sister I can be. Getting married in March, so that's coming up. I want to be.
We're gonna go party in March in San Antonio. You getting married in San Antonio, or
yes,
you're doing one of these Cancun trips? And
no Vegas Elvis trip.
No Vegas. Scratch that Elvis trip.
Yeah. But getting married in March, so that's gonna open a new door for me, and just want to be my best in that role, in that atmosphere, and. See what our life together brings. So I'm really excited for that. Well,
congratulations, and we're very happy for you.
Thank you.
Honestly, we all are, and when we saw on Facebook that you were doing better, we were all relieved that you went through everything that you did, and you got through it, and it felt good that you're doing good.
Thank you.
Let's put it that way. So now, as a pro boxer, what are your exercise routines and diets and all that? Are you enjoying all that?
It's not as hard as people think. I'm the type of person that can eat the same thing over and over every day. So it's egg whites in the morning, broiled chicken and brown rice in the afternoon, and salads at night. So it's very routine, but I enjoy it. I love to eat. So
okay. So speaking of eating, what are your? Let's get to know Candace. What are your favorite foods besides pizza?
Oh, you stole the words right out of my mouth. Pizza by far. Pizza. Right. I fell in love with cauliflower pizza. I don't know if you've tried it. You have to try it. I know it sounds deceiving. It doesn't sound like it's going to be good, but it's delicious. So I'd say cauliflower pizza, throw everything on it, all the veggies. And outside of that...
Does San Antonio have good pizzerias?
I wouldn't know, because...
Yeah. I think Coach Cardona's listening.
I know her. They always tell me, go eat, because they know how strict I am.
Right.
But, I haven't had a pizza in San Antonio in years, so okay. I really don't know.
Well, we're about to go in a minute, so.
Okay, sounds good.
No cheese.
No cheese. We're going to dab all the grease off.
Who's let's ask you this. Who's your favorite boxer? Who do you watch and say, hey, let me get some tips out of this guy when he's fighting? Who's your favorite boxer of all time?
Hands down, Mike Tyson.
Mike Tyson.
I love Tyson.
Yeah, I've always said that he's the best heavyweight ever.
Yeah.
And of course, everybody's going to have their own favorite, but to me, in my opinion, Mike Tyson was probably the best heavyweight of all.
Yeah, the speed, the angles. Yeah. I believe it's him who said it, but it's, boxing is a thinking man's sport.
Right.
And you can tell, you see Cus D'Amato and the way he trains him, and everything has a purpose. Right. Every movement has a purpose. Right. And so I really love his style of fight. I love Lomachenko. Those two are my, I guess, role models in boxing.
Right. Those are pretty good role models.
Yeah.
So, Candace, anything else you want to add, or any message that you want to send out, or any hellos?
Shout out to my family, mom, dad, brothers, sisters. Cardona's boxing gym. Just want to thank you personally, Coach. Thanks for having me here. Thank you for introducing me to boxing. Really, that was life-changing for me. You opened a new and ongoing chapter in my life. Just taught me a lot. One thing that I often find myself as I train going back to is just being so appreciative of how you are big on the fundamentals. I always come back to them. I always fall back on them. No matter what style of fight I'm taking on or practicing, the fundamentals are the same.
Right. And I've always told you guys, it's all about the fundamentals. And after the fundamentals, you guys are going to develop your own style.
Right.
So don't try to be like this boxer or that boxer. It's about the fundamentals. You can grab somebody else's fundamentals, but it's always about the fundamentals, and from there you're going to become your own boxer.
Right.
Okay, Candace. Well, that was a good talk, and I appreciate you coming down from San Antonio and coming on to the podcast and telling us your story, and you inspire a lot of people. Thank you. Everybody here in this town knows who you are, and knows that you were a good boxer and a good champion. So I appreciate you being here with Desde Cero, and we're looking forward to your pro debut.
Yes.
So with that, I guess we're done here, and we appreciate you being here, and we see y'all next time, and thank y'all for joining us. And Candace, you want to say goodbye to the audience?
Yeah. Thanks, Coach, for having me. Longoria Boxing Club, I miss y'all. Y'all are family to me. I appreciate y'all. And I'll make sure to let y'all know whenever we do have something going on in San Antonio. I'd love to see y'all there.
All right, guys. Well, don't forget to subscribe, and we see y'all next time. And thank y'all.
Bye.